Get my little kitty up there.
Hello, kitty.
All right. Round two. Welcome to the Sexy Freedom Media Podcast. I am your host, Helen Edwards, author of the upcoming book, Nothing Sexier Than Freedom.
Yes.
Holler.
And my name is Nita B. Welcome, y'all.
So this is our first podcast. We're really thankful that you've joined us today. We are going to go over some exciting things in today's podcast. We're going to do our best to reach 30 minutes and talk a little bit about the topic today, which is the tips for getting started.
Yes.
As this is our first podcast, this is our way to let you know how we've gotten started with it, and also give you tips that helped us get started with other endeavors and goals that we've achieved and we're trying to achieve in our life. So let's go over a disclaimer here.
Yes, please.
Because this is our first podcast, we want everybody to know we are not professional podcasters. We are striving to become professional one day.
Right.
Yeah. So
I agree.
Sexy Freedom Media is going to be a podcast that everything flows, anything goes. We are going to talk about a lot of different issues, subjects. One of the reasons we started this podcast is because we wanted to just talk to numerous people, learn about ourselves, learn about different people. Also because Nothing Sexier Than Freedom, the book I wrote, is going to go over a numerous amount of interesting subjects. And I thought this would be a great platform to give back, talk about the book a little bit more, talk about subjects in the book that people may have questions regarding later on.
Right. And we also want to go into excitement. We want to show that as you have an idea, you can excite yourself to try things that are new. And you don't have to necessarily go to a school to figure out a new skill, but you can get on the journey of figuring this out with your friends on your own. It's really simple and easy to do.
Yes. So one of the disclaimers I want to go over quickly is that because we are new faces to podcasting, and we're trying to figure it out, we may make a ton of mistakes. But that is a part of getting started with any endeavor and figuring it out. We do have a sailor's mouth, and I know I do. She slips every once in a while. But we just want you to be aware that there's going to be some subjects we talk about that maybe you don't want your kiddies listening to. Earmuffs.
Please. Earmuffs for the kiddos.
And there's a lot of things you may not agree with our podcast. And that's okay, because as a huge podcaster myself, listening to a ton of different podcasts, I know there are thousands of options out there. And I actually don't even know where to look in the camera right now. I keep thinking it's up there, but it could be right here. I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
Yeah.
I want to make this solid. I'm looking that direction.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps.
Oh, you'll probably notice that with our first episode, and if you stick with us onto more episodes to come, you'll learn how we evolve through speaking and communicating. So we're learning. We may seem a little bit nervous right now, but
there's a vision.
There is a vision. There's a purpose for this. We are goofy and silly, and we are women, so we get emotional, and those emotions may come out in this podcast.
Oh, they will, definitely. That could be the first guarantee we can actually give to.
Okay, and our lighting, we got to say we're doing this out of our home, so the lighting is kind of hit or miss right now. We actually spent the last 30 minutes trying to figure out the lighting, trying to figure out how to make this work. So you're lucky to be on this journey with us, because you got to see how it all starts and how we may epically, have some downfalls and obstacles in the way.
Right.
So another
failure isn't that bad once you learn how to figure it out.
Yes. And another disclaimer I want to use is that we are not anything that we suggest or talk about on here. We are not that we have no ads, we have no promotions, so it's basically everything that we like and we want to just talk about.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
Another one of our disclaimers, we'll get through this, I promise, is trolling. If you have reviews you want to say or things about our podcast, go for it. We probably will be too busy to get back to all of the reviews. Not like we're going to have 1,000, but we're hoping so. But if you've got anything negative to say, we don't read everything. So if you are trolling, move along, buddy. Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna play. And we're not in that game, just so you know.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. So let's get to Sexy Freedom Media, the reason why we're starting this podcast. Like I said, I'm a big podcaster, listener, and I can tell you, I feel like there's something missing, and I want to try to fill a little bit of that gap, because I know there's other podcasters out there who are trying to do the same. So we're going to do that. And something that Sexy Freedom Media is going to do is we're going to have special editions called the Spoken Break, and those special editions are going to be they're going to be for women's talk.
Yes, good women talk. And I mean, seriously, it's going to be what we're doing, what's in our minds. We're coming out to speak about it because maybe you've been thinking about it, you have no one to talk to. Well, welcome, you have us now. So bring it along. We want to see your comments. We want to go over your topics, because we're going to be talking about the things that affect us and what we're doing in our lives.
Right. The Spoken Break, we're going to also talk about the women's cycles, periods, things that have to do with women's bodies, body image, things that we have to do with dating,
hormones,
sex, holler, libidos.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it.
It may come out in other podcasts that we host, but basically the Spoken Break is going to be surrounded around those women's conversations.
Yes.
It's going to get nasty, baby, nasty.
Men, you can join in too. You want to know something? That's totally fine. Listen in. This is for everybody, but just so you know, we are going to be talking some women talk.
Yes. So we are trying to record this on Audacity too. We're going to try to have both a visual platform and also a audio recording.
Yep.
So this is our first time trying to do both at the same time. Yesterday we had some epic fails, but we learned so much from that. And we got 17 minutes in before it completely cut off. So that's why we did not launch yesterday's podcast. We didn't want to half-ass it for everybody. We want to give everybody something at least somewhat, good before we're great, which will be through progress.
And y'all should have saw it, because it was amazing. The topics we went over were delectable.
Yes. So Sexy Freedom Media. Why Sexy Freedom?
Yes.
The word sexy, I love, and that's why I chose it. Period. I know a lot of people say that there's a lot of bad connotations. Is that the word connotation?
Right, exactly. We were talking about this yesterday. Sometimes when you say the word sexy, everybody instantly goes to like a skimpy yourself, and that it's a place that you shouldn't be at, that you shouldn't think about. And I don't believe that that's true, and neither does Helen. We believe that you should excite yourself to know that you are sexy, and you have it in your own way. So don't let certain words put you in a category that you begin to fear that term, and then turn around and not live out your passion for something. And we feel like when people say sexy, that's a word that excites fear for some reason. And, that stops a lot of people from doing what they want.
Yeah. And the word sexy, to me, I chose it because it really related to how I wanted to feel as a woman. And with all of the models out there today, and Instagram models and perfect bodies, being a mother, and I'm sure a lot of moms out there can relate, it's tough and challenging sometimes to feel sexy. And if you have your mental breakdowns, and you've got work, and you've got everything you're juggling, it's really challenging to feel sexy all the time, especially when if you're competing for one man's attention.
Right.
So, or one woman's.
True.
But sexy was this word that I related to, and I was like, I want to feel sexy no matter what, I don't want it to rely on what other people think anymore. I want it to just be what I feel about myself.
Right.
And fucking goddamn it, I'll get it. I'll figure it out. I will make it happen. It won't happen every day, but it will happen.
You'd be surprised what sexy can do when you start living that sexy attitude. All of a sudden, you have more confidence back. You are believing in yourself more. And you're walking the street like, yeah, I know I got this, instead of holding your head down and being worrisome. We don't want to allow ourselves to stress out because we already know what that does to the body. Mm-hmm. So be sexy in your own way and learn how to free up yourself, because it's going to look good on your body. It's going to look good in your attitude. And we all know that when a sexy woman starts walking by, we all go, what is she doing? You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
That's why it's so important. Nothing sexier than freedom is another term that we have. So tell us more about why we have that.
The book. Okay. So the book title is called Nothing Sexier Than Freedom. I love it. I actually took a whole poll with a ton of women that I worked with that came to the conclusion that that is going to be the title of the book. And freedom just means so much to so many people, and it can mean different things to different people. Yeah. Financial freedom, living wildly, living free with your family, living free independently, free of voice, free of being who you authentically are. Right. Freedom has so many things surrounded by it. So that's why I put the two together, Sexy Freedom for the Sexy Freedom Media for the podcast. Yes. But nothing sexier than freedom meant just that there is nothing sexier than being free, and free of everything, free of all of the doubts, the worries, and the stress that day-to-day life gets you.
Exactly. And it's not a process that you can get into right away. There are some hills and valleys to it, but those are also what we call learning curves. If you're not able to get through those learning curves, then you're not able to get to your point of freedom. So we're going to take you through a journey to realize that it's okay to be lost and found again, because that is truly how you get to your freedom.
Yes, great topic, actually. Yeah. Because we spoke on this yesterday, and I'm really glad we can get a second shot at this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that subject for a minute here, because I think it can definitely touch on what the 3 tips we're going to give today for getting started with any endeavor you have. For women, and the reason I wrote this book was a book about this girl named Tally, and she embodies basically a lot of women out there and a lot of women's stories I've heard, but she's the main character, and she basically does this whole evolution from her youth to her 20s to her 30s, and she evolves and finds her grip in life. Saying that she found her grip in life is also saying that you lose grip sometimes. You lose grip with the reality. Lose. And one of the things we talked about yesterday was the fact that there's all these stories out there that, I found my way. I was lost and then I found my way. But with Tally's story, she is lost. She finds her way. She's lost. She finds her way. Yeah. She's lost. It is a never-ending battle, it seems like. Yes. And she never completely finds that balance. But what she does find is tools. Right. Tools to help her carry her through her storms. Right. Because storms are inevitable and they're going to happen. Yes. Because life will throw you curveballs.
Right, but they're temporary.
And they are temporary.
And you can let them be temporary. Yes. If you think that they're permanent, it'll bring you to a deeper place, and it's going to be harder to get out of it. Knowing that it's okay to get lost and to be found and to find yourself, you have a point of break where you can say, you know what, I see the light there. I'm going to keep striving for that. And this tool is going to help me get further and further into it. And that becomes to a point where you get into some discipline, right? Yes. You get into that discipline of learning. First, it's temporary. Second, it's okay. And third, okay, now I'm going to be better. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, what more can you ask for?
I think it's perfect. A lot of things,
but no. Okay, so let's jump into some of these tips that we want to give, and we will relate them back to the progress that we both are currently going through in life right now. Like I said, I'm getting ready to launch a book called Nothing Sexier Than Freedom.
Yes.
My website will be launching soon. I'm trying to, let's actually talk about that just for a quick minute here.
Wait, are we going to talk about the book, or are we going to talk about?
Well, let's talk about the book real quick, and then we'll get into the 3 tips, because I think the tips are going to be something that I'm able to offer everybody and all the listeners out there that's helped me personally persevere and get started with my endeavor.
Yes.
So 4 years ago, I started writing a book, and let's fast forward 4 years to now. The book will be in my hand this month.
Yes.
But I will not be launching until next year of 2018, March 2018.
Right.
Because I want to successfully do it and prepare myself with the marketing edge that I feel that I have to back it up. However, the first weekend of August, you want to follow me on Facebook, Sexy Freedom Media. We're going to be launching the first weekend of August, launching the book trailer and unveiling the book cover of Nothing Sexier Than Freedom.
You guys are going to love it. It looks phenomenal.
And let me just say, this beautiful woman right here did the voiceover for the trailer, and it came out fantastic. I can't wait to share it with the world.
Wow. So we already know that we're starting to get into the book, right? My biggest question to you is just, why did you do this? Why did you need to release this information about your book?
Okay, so the reason I wrote Nothing Sexier Than Freedom is because I wanted to remember something for myself. Starting the book, and for all you readers out there who, or book lovers, or anybody who just wants to write a book one day, you know, the reason why I started is because I wanted to remember my life. I wanted to remember stories of my life and stories of my girlfriends and stories of people that I've come in contact with. So that's what started it. And I had this idea that we all get old one day, or some of us, you know, don't get to live a long life. Some of us in short. So death is, you know, comes to us all. We don't know when it's going to end. So I had it in my mind, like I wanted something to remember myself, or something that friends or family can remember me if something were to happen. So I started writing these funny stories about me and all my dating relationships. And then also offered stories of my girlfriends and their relationships. And it just became this big joke that I wanted to remember.
Right.
Well, let's fast forward again. And it became more of a therapy as soon as
I was just thinking that.
As soon as an editor got involved, because I never thought I'd get an editor, but I wanted an editor just to clean it up for me, just the grammar, because my grammar is awful. And got an editor. The editor cleaned it up for me. And long story short, she just kept asking questions. You know, well, why do you feel this way? Why do you feel that way?
Right.
And next thing I know, I have a full book that became therapy for me. It started making me question my own habits, my own hardwiring, my own desires. And almost 400 pages in, now I've got a book. Voila.
Wow.
I'll talk about that.
Pages.
More podcasts to come. I'll get into that later. More on the why and what it's about. But yeah, so
I make sure we're not missing out on the good part.
Right. And the funnest part, actually the fun, that sounds somewhere. I was like,
there's that grammar issue.
So yeah, a lot of people do ask me what the book is about.
Right.
And
do you want to tell them that in this podcast?
I'll give a short version of what the book is about. The book is about a girl named Tally, and it's based on true events of my own personal life and of lives around me that I know. And basically Tally embodies a way of thinking that, you know, not all cheating and lying is wrong. And she goes on this journey to figure out why she thinks that, because, you know, it's a little bit adolescence to think that at first, until she gets in her 30s and then realizes that she still believes that. And it's part of her hardwiring. And at the same time, she's battling a lot of inner demons, and she's an absent mother. She's trying to figure out her way in life, and she stumbles across self-help. And the coolest thing about it is, while everybody's out there posting about it and sharing it, she decides to take it and run with it.
Yeah.
So while everybody's, you know, figuring out their life, she's just like, fuck it, I'm doing it. So she is an action taker.
Okay.
She's a move maker. And she basically does everything that she gets in her hands on.
Okay.
And she fails miserably at so many things, but she's still doing it. She sees a quote, she does a quote. Yeah. She doesn't talk about the quote. She does it.
Right.
So she has little achievements here and there. And long and behold, as soon as she wraps her mind, as soon as she evolves, she figures out that this whole journey is the thing. It's the thing. The journey is the thing. It's the grand finale.
That's what you're supposed to be doing in life, is having a journey.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And the one thing, though, that evolves her more than anything else is it is, and I don't want to spill it, but the ending is the thing that she thinks that isn't going to change her life changes her life immensely.
Right.
So,
well, obviously that detail is to come later. We can't go much further. I
don't want to spoil the ending
that just yet.
Yeah.
Because we want you guys to read the book. We want you to be excited. And it is an interesting journey. It's different, and it's okay to be different. But I think once you see it and you understand the story, you'll be like, oh, wow. And you might relate to it immensely. And it might be something that you never shared that's actually on your heart. So now there's something out there that will be with you,
yes.
Which I think is going to be wonderful. And kind of going back to that topic, when we talk about self-help, please don't take that as a negative connotation as well. Help is really, really good. And we know a lot of people don't ask for it. That's okay. We look at self-help as rejuvenation, as process and change, coming back to evolving oneself. So if you don't like that term, totally fine. I know I don't like that term, so that's why I have to put it onto a new word, because otherwise you tell me to do a self-help book and read a self-help book, I'll be like, no. Like my son says, X, right? So I want you guys to understand that you can get into this journey with us, and you're gonna laugh, and it's gonna make you cry, and it's gonna be, you're gonna say like, what the fuck? But that's totally gonna be fine, because we want you to share that with us. And when she shared it with me, I had those same emotions too. So I'm kind of interested to see what you guys say.
Yes, thank you. You know what you said about self-help, like it has helped me so much through so many years, and I'm not afraid to say, hey, I love self-help, I love self-transformation, I love new age, I love it all, but to each their own. And I think that's one thing that I speak about a lot in the book, is being authentically yourself.
Right.
And just, who cares if you want to try something one day and then change it the next? Like, this is life. We are exploring. We are trying new things on, trying new outfits, trying new people. I'm just saying, okay? So this is what we do. This is how we evolve and how we learn what we want and what we want to do for the rest of our life.
We are unique individuals. None of you can ever be replaced. None of us can ever be replaced.
That's the truth.
We all live a unique existence. So in this unique existence, we all want everybody to know that they're not alone, which is why we've banded together to create this this media outlet through Sexy Freedom Media, and through Nothing Sexier Than Freedom, and through Sexy Freedom, because if we think that we are all the same, we think we're replaceable, and we're not. We are all unique. So I want everybody to understand that, because that's what her book goes into. And it's a very great experience. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either. I can't wait to share with the world. So let's go into the 3 tips to getting started for everybody out there who may be struggling or having a hard time. So the first one is, so first of all, these 3 tips are to help you stay focused, persevere, and get started.
Yes.
Holler.
I need to do all of them.
Okay, so the first one is take baby steps every day. I had to look down at our show notes for those.
She wasn't supposed to say that.
Take baby steps every day. And I can't tell you how much that has, oh my God, helped me so much. Just baby steps, just little weeny, teeny baby steps.
They have to be small, because doing something out of your routine is very, very weird and can be awkward, and then you don't want to do it again. So start out with something tiny. I know it doesn't seem like it's going to be a big accomplishment or that it's going to be a big marker in your life, but believe you me, when you start out with something tiny and you know you can do it, then all of a sudden you do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And next thing you know, you're just like, oh my gosh, I just changed my life.
And if it's baby steps, and you're probably asking yourself, well, what baby steps? Well, information baby steps can be a start.
Yes.
You know, learning something.
Yes.
Which brings us to the second one, which is feed your mind every day with some positive and motivational shit.
Right.
Because that feeding your brain is baby steps.
Right.
It's helping you
Retrain your brain.
Retrain your brain. And I've talked about this so many times. And every morning what I do, and this is not what everybody has to do, but this is just what I do.
Yeah.
Just like I train my body when I get up and I'm like, okay, get to working out. I also do it with my brain.
Yes.
I have a playlist called Grind on my Spotify if you ever want to follow me.
Yes.
I hate you, Wallace. But
we'll type that at the bottom of the notes so you can get to her.
It's set up for me to push hard. It's a mix of motivational music and motivational speaking, because I need some tough love sometimes to get me forward. And that's a baby step, retraining my brain.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to fill my mind with all the negativity out there, because there's so much out there. Even my own brain just wants to, go towards, oh man, I'm tired. Oh man, I don't feel like it. Who feels like it? Nobody feels like it. So that's why I have other voices in my head.
Yes,
AKA,
I was just going to speak on this.
AKA other podcasts, motivational YouTube videos, just listening to good music to retrain my brain, to motivate me.
Right. And these baby steps can help you get to embodiment. And when you get to a place where you're embodying this into yourself, it's going to become natural. And when you have that natural position, obviously your heart's going to speak off of that as well. And that's what we're all trying to do. I'm learning it. It is a very hard process.
Yes,
it is not easy at all. But all of a sudden it comes to a point where we're looking back at, okay, why do we have these thoughts that if I'm tired and I don't feel like it, that I shouldn't do it? Like, where does all that stem from? If you were really to close your eyes and listen back to those voices, whose voice is it? Is it yours? Is it your mother's? Is it your father's? Is it your brothers, sisters, whoever? You start to think about that and then realize, hey, that's not you. So now you're getting to a point where you're retraining your brain to get to your work hard and your play hard, and then you're doing it hard, right? Okay, that sounds weird though. I don't know if I want to say doing it hard. Okay.
My mind is swimming towards open waters.
But you know what I mean. Like we said, baby steps get you to embodiment, and then from there it becomes a natural routine, and that's where it all starts.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So the first one is taking baby steps every day.
Yes.
The second one is, filling your mind or putting some positive shit in your mind. And that can wing off the baby steps.
Right.
The third thing, and this is really, really, really important, is to not be so hard on yourself. Take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale.
We're going to start some yoga in a little bit.
Holler. I am a yoga instructor. Okay, so do you want to touch on it, or want me to touch on it?
Okay, so I'm going to have you touch on this because I like the way you started this off, and I want to help you finish this with a bang. So, yes.
Bang. All right, I will. So don't be so hard on yourself. And I am so guilty of being so hard on myself because, all right, so I'm a tough cookie, and I'm an alpha. And when I want things done, I want them done now.
Yeah.
So part of not being so hard on yourself is you have to stop and breathe.
Yeah.
And maybe for everybody out there, this is where physical fitness gets into it. And yoga has been a blessing in my life because it has definitely helped me not to be so hard on myself.
Right.
Where I have to remind myself, relax, slow down, take a breath.
Yeah.
Like exhale. Exhale. You're about to explode. Blueberries,
Yeah. Blueberries.
I don't know. Just the idea came in my head from Chocolate Factory.
We'll go over that soon.
Some random shit there.
Oh my gosh. Chocolate Factory. Wow. So she's right. She's absolutely right. With that blueberry experience, if you don't breathe, you will explode. And we don't know if you're going to get stained with all that stuff. Right? Isn't that what happens in the movie? Is you get stained with all that stuff. Anyways, we want everybody to take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
Take a breath, breathe it in, then exhale. Because that is a point of control that you're taking.
Yes.
And when you get back into your own control, you know that you're able. And being able allows you to be stronger than you really think that you are. And that is, again, coming back to retraining your brain and making sure that you're feeding yourself with positive need. And we all need that, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And another thing that I do to not be so hard on myself is I reach out to my girlfriends. And I reach out to my best friends, and they text me, and they say, "Hey, chillax."
Yeah, we do.
Calm down. You've achieved so much. Like you are like 100 speed. Like relax, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Go have a cerveza and relax, homie.
It is so strange when she tells me that she's going to have a code one. I'm like, yes, finally. I don't know why you haven't done this already, because it's good to sit back and relax and take a moment for yourself after you've been whining the game so much of trying to get something done. Yes. So it is quite necessary for you to not get to that point where you're just like, oh my gosh, this is really hard. But oh my gosh, when something is really hard, it usually turns into something really great. So don't forget what the goal is and the big picture, because if you look at what you are currently in, you won't see your success through it and you'll give up. And there is no quitting over here, okay?
No quitting.
No quitting. All right.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. This is our first podcast. It has been 30 minutes. We are starting off slow. We want a 30-minute podcast just to reel you in.
Right.
And then we're going to shoot for an hour, and then we're going to slowly get into our hours podcast.
Right. And before we let you go, we want you to know that you can also follow at symbol, right?
Yeah.
I always think it's hashtag. It's the @ symbol, Sexy Freedom. Wow, look at me.
Okay, let me go there.
At Sexy Freedom. And that will be on Facebook.
So find us on Facebook,
Instagram
at Sexy Freedom Media.
Okay.
Instagram at Sexy Freedom Media.
Yes.
Twitter at Sexy Freedom Now.
Oh, you changed it up on me.
The website will be coming soon. You'll be able to find us on www. I don't even know if I should have said that. Sexyfreedom.com.
Yep.
Sexyfreedom.com.
And on YouTube.
YouTube, Sexy Freedom Media.
Yay!
So let's just one last time go through the 3 tips for you to get started.
And those tips again will
Number
be
1, take baby steps every day.
Yep.
Number 2, I'm trying to do this without looking at the show notes. 2, feed your mind with positive shit every day.
Yes.
3,
and
don't be so hard on yourself, baby.
That's better. All right. Now I think you should give it to him one more time. Where can they follow you at?
Follow me on Facebook, Sexy Freedom Media.
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
Sexy Freedom Media.
Yes.
Twitter at Sexy Freedom Now.
Yes. And
website, sexyfreedom.com.
And on YouTube,
Sexy Freedom Media.
I think we got it. Yay!
And just to wrap this up, we're going to go ahead and stop our timer.
Oh my gosh, you still have the timer.
And we're going to go ahead and play our song. And again, you can find me on Spotify and follow my grind list. Don't be so hard on yourself. No, that's not what it is. H. Uvalis on my Spotify.
Again, we'll add that in the notes so you can follow her.
We're going to try to do these podcasts once a week.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And sometimes they will have just Helen on here. And sometimes there will be a mixture of other women in her group and her support system, like me. So don't get used to only just seeing me. You might see some other lovely friends in here too.
Yeah. I was going to play Don't Be So Hard on Yourself, but I can't find it.
Sounds wonderful. Doesn't it always happen? Every single time you want to play a song, you can't find what you're looking for.
Yes. Thank you. Follow us. We'll talk to you later. Sexy Freedom Media out.